NFL Week 5 props and parlays. In this video, I have my second 2-unit play of the season. My first one was sweat-free. We'll dive into that in just one moment, as well as my touchdown parlay of the week, another player prop, and a daily fantasy slip for my PrizePicks Underdog fantasy people out there. My name is Austin. Thank you, as always, for tuning in. Let's dive right into things with our touchdown parlay, and then we'll get into a recap of Thursday Night Football. Here it is. Not going to overcomplicate things. It's on the screen. 4 fellas to get into the end zone. Now, with touchdown parlays printed last year, this season we're 1 for 4. We have lost 2 of them, going 3 for 4 on the slip. This week we're going 4 for 4. Derrick Henry, our first guy. We know Lamar Jackson's out. They got a lot of guys banged up on defense. They're going to have to score. Derrick Henry, one of the best TD scorers in the NFL. Cooper Rush ain't running it in. Knock on wood. Please don't happen. I think it's a pretty good matchup for him against the Texans. A very good secondary. If they get in the red zone, Derrick Henry's getting the football. Then we go to Ted McMillan. I know, a rookie, a Panther? Absolutely not. Look, listen up. I think Ted McMillan gets his first career touchdown this week at home. He's had the red zone targets, a great matchup against the Dolphins. They're down Chuba Hubbard. I know Rico Dowdle will get some looks. Ted McMillan, the Dolphins got no one that can match up with him. He's getting in the end zone. Then we go to the late window, Jamar Chase and David Montgomery. Jamar Chase, I think, gets going this week. I'll talk about him a little bit more in one of our other videos I will post Saturday evening, but I think he can get a touchdown. The Lions play the 4th most man coverage. Maybe we can see Jamar break a big one. And then David Montgomery, if you know, he's returning to Cincinnati, where's his hometown. He's got a lot of family and friends coming to this game, as well as his sister, who, if you don't know, she's paralyzed, I think, for the last year or so. David talked about that on I believe, the Kay Adams show or something like that. I think David Montgomery, Dan Campbell finds a way to get him in the end zone. That is cashing. That's how we kick off the week. Then we move into some other things. But as always, you guys know I want to recap how we did on Thursday, although honestly, I really don't want to because, well, let's be honest, wasn't great for us. We lost our long shot, a 0.1 unit play. I lost Brian Robinson's over in rush yards, a half unit play. So 0-2 is not great. It's only 0.6 units, so not even full unit. But again, we have struggled on those Thursday and Monday night football games. No reason. I have no understanding why. Brian got 5 carries. If he could average 3 yards a carry, would have cashed. He averaged like 2.4. Tough one. We'll bounce back. You have my word. And it starts with that 2-unit play. And let's waste no more of your time. Let's dive right in. I do want to put out a note, though, is that if you don't know, we have a dub club where you can get some exclusive plays, exclusive parlays, research tools, join the community. It's only $10 for your first month. You get early access to all these plays. So if the lines move by the time these videos post, that's probably why. This week, week 5 exclusive parlay or card has 2 1-unit player props, as well as a long shot parlay, which will be posted Sunday morning. So again, if you want to join, $10 for your first month. Link is in the description. Let's dive into my 2-unit play of the week. My favorite one across the board. It is the guy on the thumbnail, Saquon Barkley. Over 95.5 rushing plus receiving yards, minus 115 on Fanatics. It was right around the same odds on every single book, between 95.5 to 99.5. 2 units. He obviously plays for the Eagles. We should all know that by now. Saquon, like I said before, I've been diving into why I really like this play. I'd play it up to probably 105.5. Now, as I get higher and higher, I might be reducing my unit size, but I love Saquon in this matchup. Now, if you're like, oh, so I can't do rushing and receiving yards, I would take his rush yards. But let's talk all about Saquon. Now, if you have him on your fantasy team, you're like, Austin, this guy is stunk this year. And I understand why you're like that. And he actually has yet to hit this over at all this season. He had 84 rushing and receiving yards in week 1, 94 in week 2, 55 and 74 the last 2 weeks. So obviously he's had a slow start. But if you look at the matchups he has had, let me break them down for you. And I'll try not to yap too long about Saquon, why I think this is a great matchup. But let's just talk about the matchups. He faced the Cowboys in week 1, who have looked pretty good on the defensive line. Now, the secondary has been bad, but they see Saquon, obviously, well, last year they saw him twice. They see the Eagles a ton. They're familiar with that scheme. Then in week 2, he faced the Chiefs, one of the best rush defenses in the NFL, and they also have already seen him. I saw him in the Super Bowl last year. Then they faced the Rams in week 3, a team that had now seen him 3 straight times within the last year, once in the regular season, once in the playoffs, and then obviously last year in the regular earlier in week 3. And then week 4, the Buccaneers, one of the best rush defenses in football. So again, 4 straight really bad matchups for Saquon. Now he gets a Broncos team whose strength is their secondary, not their run-stopping ability. And we've seen running backs have field days on them. Tony Pollard in week 1, 89 rushing and receiving yards. If you could do that on the Titans, you can do it. You could double that for Saquon. Say Jonathan Taylor in week 2, 215 rushing plus receiving yards. Amari in Hampton, week 3, 129 rushing and receiving yards. And Chase Brown last week, 71 rushing and receiving yards. Now, I know 2 of those 4 guys didn't hit the line, but the 2 guys that did it, the Titans and Bengals, those teams went 2 for 14 and 2 for 11 on third down. Now, say what you want about Jalen Hurts and the passing attack of the Eagles that has not been great. And A.J. Brown, I know he's come on to social media putting his verses and stuff out there. And I know maybe he gets going, but I don't think this is the week he's going to be shadowed by Pat Surtain. I think this is the week that we see Saquon finally break off one. I think you have 100-plus rushing yards alone, but it is a good matchup for receiving yards, which is why I'm tacking it on there. There really hasn't been a lot of threat to Saquon in the receiving game. Will Shipley still a little bit banged up, and A.J. Dillon and Tank Bigsby aren't catching balls. So Saquon's been out there running a lot of routes. Great matchup for Saquon. 2-unit play of the day, of the week. My first 2-unit play of the season was Ashton Genty's over in rush attempts. That was sweat-free, and even though his team lost by like 30 this week, it's Saquon. Lock in. Let's get into another player prop. Then I'll talk about my daily fantasy slip. Dak Prescott, under. Under. Who likes unders? This guy. Under 34.5 pass attempts. Now, if you don't recall, unders in the NBA printed for us all season long. I think we cashed our unders at like a 65, 70% clip. Now, that is the NBA. This is the NFL Austin. But again, as I said, there are more ways to cash an under than over. And I love this one at 34.5 pass attempts, minus 109 on draft. Just a 1-unit play. If you don't know what units are, units is just a standard bankroll management term. Probably should have said that before I said the 2-unit play, but 1 unit is typically 1 to 2% of your bankroll. So I like Saquon double, I guess, if you want to count, but you can't be forcing everything as a 2-unit play. But let's talk about Dak Prescott a little bit. Why I like this under. Now, Dak and the Cowboys are on the road taking on my Jets. You see the helmet back there. Jets have been abysmal on offense. But when the Jets do get going on offense, and people will like them to score points here because the Cowboys defense has been not great. The Jets don't score quick. They really don't have a lot of explosiveness on this offense. Now, Breece Hall and Justin Fields will be running around doing stuff, Garrett Wilson too. But again, this team, when they score, I mean, you could just flash back to their first drive against the Dolphins. It was like an 8-9 minute drive. Of course, they fumbled right at the goal line, but that's kind of their drives. They don't score a lot of points. I mean, when this team scores, it's not a lot of, one's a quick strike touchdown. So again, if they are going to score on the Cowboys, it's not going to be like how the other teams have done it, where you see the Giants completing deep balls, or you see last week with Packers throwing it all over them. That's not really what the Jets do. I mean, Justin Fields, he's okay, but again, not a lot of passes coming their way. And if you look at QBs that have faced the Jets so far this season, we're talking about a Baker Mayfield. I mean, you talk about him, he only had 29 pass attempts. Last week, Tua Tagovailoa, only 25. Week 1, in that shootout against the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, only 30. Josh Allen, they blew out the Jets. He only had 25. Again, they couldn't really do anything there. Josh Allen was on the field basically the whole entire first half, only 25 pass attempts. You also look at this matchup, George Pickens likely shadowed by Sauce Gardner, and they're down Kevontae Turpin. They're down, obviously, CeeDee Lamb. We know him. I don't know if they have a lot of options here. So I think you see Dak not throw it around as much. And I do want to note, I don't think this means he has a bad game. The Jets, they don't guard crossing routes. So I think he'd have a big day. He's completing 73% of his balls. I think he'd have a huge day, but I don't know if he's throwing it 35 times. I don't think he needs to. I really like this under. If they could be trailing, but I still don't know if he gets over 35. So give me the under, 34.5 pass attempts. Now, I need to dive into my Underdog slip. If you don't know what Underdog is, well, I'm going to inform you right now. Underdog right now, if you sign up, well, number one, if it's in your state, you better lock in, because here's what you're getting if you sign up with my code COS. All you have to do is play $5 and give you $100 in bonus funds. I mean, that is as good of an offer as you get. You sign up with my code COS, you get that offer, play $5, get $100 in bonus funds. I'll put up my Underdog slip right here. But a cool thing about Underdog is, well, all through October, they call it Boosttober. So they're giving people boosts. I threw a boost on this one. They basically give you a boost every single day. It's Boosttober. So boost your payouts. That's pretty sweet. I'll show a cool feature here. Saquon Barkley, we know him, rushing receiving yards. Dak Prescott, 39.5. Lock. Austin, I thought you said 34.5. Yeah, cool thing about Underdog, you're able to move some lines up. So maybe you think Dak could be sharp. I don't think he's throwing it 40 times in this game. If he does, something went wrong for the Cowboys. But 34.5, I obviously love. 39.5, I can bump it up 5. I'll take a chance there. The other two are plays I have not touched on. Now, Ted McMillan, we touched on him for scoring a touchdown. I like his Q1 yards. I don't think I'll maybe play it as an official play, but he has had 10 or more in every single game this season. And like I said, Dolphins, they haven't been giving up a ton of yards to receivers, but this is Ted McMillan. He's the number one guy. He's seeing like 2, 3, 4 targets per first quarter. I think he gets it going. And Tua, less than 33.5 yards for his longest pass completion. Tua is not really throwing deep. We know Tyreek Hill's obviously out for the season, and this is a Panthers team that plays a ton of cover three. Don't give up a ton of passes that deep. In fact, no QB has had a 33 or longer completion. Last week, we got burned on that one, so I'm not making an official pick because I have no luck there. But maybe if it's just in this little underdog slip, maybe we can cash a 8.35x slipper. Let's cash it. Again, code COS. If you do that, you'll play $5, get $100 in bonus funds. Get on in there. I'll put a link down below as well, so you don't have to necessarily download it and you have to input my code. If you click the link, it should automatically input my code for you. But again, you need code COS to get that little offer there. A final thing to talk about before we get on out of here is that we have a couple other videos that are already live on the channel. The first one, if you don't know, now you know, we do our game picks video. That video gets posted on Wednesday. We go through every single game and give you our side or total. I know I don't really bet a ton of sides and totals in these videos because honestly, I like betting player props more, but I at least can hear my thoughts. Last year I was at a 58% clip, which is honestly very good, betting a spread or total in every game. This year I'm at a 62% win rate. Coming off my first losing week of the year, we're bouncing back. Go check out that video, as well as later on Saturday evening. I already talked about I have a Jamar Chase play, and you can see what that is. But I have a bunch more player props, a plus 170, plus 180, a bunch of other things. So that video will be live Saturday evening. Once it is live, I will link it somewhere over here. The week 5 game picks video is up there, and obviously day 6 of the ladder challenge will be posted already before this video drops. We're trying to cash day 6, move on to day 7, keep the climb going to try to get to 10K. That's enough for me. Let's cash our touchdown parlay. Let's cash our 2-unit play of the day. Let's go, Dak. You can have an official day, not 35 pass attempts. Those are the picks. Let's have a week. Check out the other videos, and I'll see you guys back again in the next one. Let's have ourselves a day. See you in the next one. Peace.